Hey everyone, Jamie Cinq-Mars here. How are you? I'm having a little bit of problem with my camera. I look a little fuzzy, and I don't understand why. That's why I'm a little bit a few minutes late here, because I was trying to find a solution. It never used to be this fuzzy. So just looking at a few settings here, and not really seeing where I can make a change. I don't understand. Yeah, I know that I used to be able to see everything very clearly. Oh well, we're fuzzy. Hopefully you can hear me well. Off we go into, I gotta open up the panel here so I can see something. See what's going on. I think I forgot to turn on the now, of course, the chat window's not working. Everything. I couldn't get this working at all, so I'm just happy that I'm here today, because I haven't been able to get this to work, period, for the last little while. So this is good news. I'm just thinking if I can open up a chat window of some kind. Hopefully it works. Let's turn this on. Can we turn it on? You can only turn this feature on and off before the broadcast. Oh, a little late for that, I guess, eh? Alright, well, here we go. What I want to talk today about was the concept of thinking and dreaming creatively, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Let me just get comfortable here for a second. I do have my coffee. It's over here. The concept of thinking and dreaming creatively is for me, one of the most critical steps in the concept. I'm going to move my camera a little bit here. One of the critical steps in anybody's success. Now, you may already have formed an opinion as to what creative thinking is just by me saying the phrase creative thinking. And really, the premise of it is it's a lot more simple than most people think. Creative thinking isn't, it isn't based on the people who have done the most amazing things on the planet. It's not that deep, or that people who write novels, or who've been created the color television, or Edison with the light bulb and stuff like that. It's not that. Creative thinking can be found everywhere. A low-income family figuring out how to send one of his children to university. Creative thinking, I have some notes here, guys. I just gotta make sure I don't forget anything. So, yeah. So and the other, something simple as there's a very undesirable lot on your street, and a family moves in, picks that lot, turns it into the jewel of the neighborhood, so to speak. That's all creative thinking. So it doesn't have to be grandiose. I've invented the light bulb, or the Wright brothers and discovering flight. I mean, it's not. You don't have to be the people that make history to be capitalizing on creative thinking. Where it starts is belief. Okay, and this is really why this is such a great and amazing topic for me, is because it has to do with your belief factor, whether or not you believe it can happen. I have a couple of teenagers, and sometimes my most frustrating conversations with them have nothing to do with their youthful exuberance, or their invincibility, or all those great things that teenagers have. That make you want to, pull your hair out a little bit. But personally for me, are the most frustrating parts are when I have a conversation with them regarding what they want to do. Or my daughter is a good example. She's she's tall for her age, and she's strong, and she's definitely got and she loves to play volleyball, and she certainly has a higher than average skill set in from what I can see, having watched a number of the volleyball games that she has been a part of, and the people that she plays with and the different, teammates she has. I mean, she's certainly one of the leaders on the team. But she minimizes that, and she also, when we talk about playing, she plays in high school. So, and what we're trying to, I've been talking to her about playing in club, which is a community club league. It's a more advanced place to play. And that's where a lot of the kids that go on to end up playing in universities and getting, potential scholarships and stuff of that nature, they all end up playing club ball, because that's where their skills get further developed, because they have coaches and they're not bound by the high school rules and things of that nature. And you're off in high school. They're often, everybody's making the team, right, regardless of skills. So there's that, and being from the this is funny, I'll say it, being from old school, because I'm so old now, but being from old school, the funny part of it is that my belief system has a lot more to do with competition, and that not everybody should play. Some people don't have skills to play sports and shouldn't play sports. They shouldn't be playing sports because their parents have told them they should play sports, or because their parents want their kids to go play sports so that they can have a break. Like, that's the wrong reason to be in sports, in my opinion. But we live in a world today where fair play and participation ribbons are abound. Look, you're 27th place. Here's a ribbon. You're just as good as number one. You're not. That's just how it works. Sorry. You got to teach these children how to strive for something better. But so I'm having this conversation with my daughter. Sorry, I got a little off track there. And the concept of club ball came up, and she got very timid and very quiet about it. And maybe we'll see what happens in after the high school season, because that's when club ball starts. And I said, well, do you want to go and play club ball? Well, I mean, I think I probably wouldn't. I think I'd enjoy it. Which is very, you see, like the language she was using. She was just very, timid about it. And unfortunately, when I'm sitting there, all I'm hearing is she's not going to play club ball. And it's because she doesn't believe that she either A, can, either that she wouldn't make the team, because you have to actually make the team, right? You have to actually compete, make the team. So she's got there's some factors in there where the belief factor is missing. And so when it comes to learning how to dream and think creatively, step number one is believe it can be done. That's step one. You have to make absolutely no concessions in that department. There is no, well, we'll just see how it goes. There is no, yeah, that would be awesome. However, there is none of that. It's straight up, yeah, I'm playing club ball. That's as simple as it is, and that's as straightforward as it is, and that's the way. Yeah, I'm going to make $1 million. Yeah, my business is going to be successful. That's it. You have to believe it. Now, I'm not, don't misunderstand. I'm not some pie in the sky, unicorns and rainbows, that everything you believe will happen. No, the circumstances change and things go haywire and go awry, or your life circumstances change or something. I get that. So I'm not so foolish to think that once you believe in something, that it's going to happen. But I do know this. If you don't truly believe something will happen, you will never find a way to make it happen. You're completely running on chance. And for those people in the world who like to tell me that they don't like to gamble, they go to Vegas and they don't put any money in the slots. They don't gamble. And they say it with this air of, I'm better than you. Maybe they're not saying that, but it always feels that way. But they tend to gamble with their life all the time. Day in, day out, gamble, gamble, gamble. Why? Because they don't believe what they want to do, what they're planning on doing. They leave it all to chance. I'd rather gamble $20 on a slot machine than my success. That's just me. Cheers. Here's a basic truth. To do anything, we must first believe it can be done. Believing something can be done sets the mind in motion to find a way to make it happen. That's an important thing. If you're taking notes, that's something really, really important. Basic truth is you have to believe in something in order to make it happen. Period. There's no off ramps on this highway. That's it. Because once you believe in something, you set your mind in motion. The gears in your brain start to work, and they start to formulate ways that it can happen. Maybe not immediately, maybe not the second that you believe it, but as long as it's part of your belief process on a daily basis and that you have conviction, that's probably the best word you should write down, conviction in your beliefs, then your brain will start to move in that direction. You know, people say that nothing happens or everything happens for a reason. I think that that's a part, those two kinds of concepts go together, right? You firmly believe in something, the universe, call it however you want to call it, will start to bring things together. It's your brain coming up with solutions, putting you in position to accept the next piece of advice, the next person, the next influx of money, the next whatever. All putting you in position so that the very next stage is working in the direction of what you believe will happen. Does that mean it'll happen next week, next month, 5 years, 2 years? There's no finite number. That's when goals come in. You believe this, then you write down a goal. You hit the mark, maybe you missed it by a little bit, but guess what? You're 80% closer to it than you were before you started, and when you didn't believe it, or you went, oh, maybe it could happen. There's a big difference there. There was I was reading a book, which I suggest everybody do, and with regards, this is where the topic sort of came to me. It's not something I've talked about or thought of before, but it's just the book kind of rounded it out for me. And the author of the book was talking about how, in order to illustrate this type of thinking, he whoops, close a window there. Some construction going on down the street, and the big trucks are making lots of noise. So anyway, to illustrate the point of creative thinking, both negative and positive, because it works in both directions, he posed the concept of how do you word it now? He posed the concept of how many of the people that he was talking to in this classroom of people feel that it was possible to eliminate jails, correctional facilities, within 30 years. Well, the place went hog wild nuts. People just started, or there was this quiet silence at first, of course, because he was thinking, or because everybody in the room was like, did he just say what I think he just said? Is he crazy? And so then he let the pause, dramatic pause. He allowed that to happen, let it sink in, then he said it again. How many of you feel that we could eliminate jails in the next 30 years? Well, that's when the place went crazy and started going, well, if you let all the criminals out, you know what that would mean? Blah, 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 we need it. Someone went as far as to say that if you eliminate jails, and the police officers and the correctional guards will have no jobs. So we need jails in order to keep them employed. It's amazing what people will come up with in order to support what they believe. Right? The support. There's a piece of, write that down. Your mind will support whatever you believe. Right? So, now he let them go on and just attack him for the next 20 minutes about all the reasons why this concept of no jails was crazy. And then, after all that, he stopped them and he said, what I need you to do is I need you to at least give it some thought, at least make an attempt to tell me some reasons why, list some reasons why we could survive without jails, or how we could eliminate jails. Let's do it that way. How we could eliminate jails. I'm not saying we would do it, but I want to run the exercise of give me some reasons. I need you to believe, just for a moment, in an exercise, that we could eliminate jails in 30 years. Well, suddenly, within a few minutes of people starting to change their mindset around the room, everyone's changing their mindset. Suddenly, the suggestion came up that they would do some, there'd be, the programs for at-risk youth, conduct some sort of research so they could spot potential criminals and try and help them before they become criminals. And the solution started to flow. This room full of people who tacked him for 20 minutes on the concept suddenly had all kinds of solutions as to how we could eliminate jails. If you believe it, your mind will get to work producing solutions. Creative thinking. Creative thinking is not, I'm going to go write a book. It's not, I'm the best blogger on the planet. It's not that I'm, I'm going to go invent some sort of. You don't need to be an inventor. Let's just leave it at that. Creative thinking means that you find solutions. Solution-based thinking is creative thinking. I'm a big fan of solution-based thinking. I use the phrase all the time. But again, when I was reading the book that sort of brought it all together for me, it's amazing that what I'm finding these days is that when I read books, specific books, usually ones that have been suggested to me, I'm finding that these books don't necessarily teach me a new concept. Although there's new concepts in the book, I find that majority of the book is actually polishing off the edges of concepts and theories and mindsets that I've already had for many years, and that it's giving me a backdrop for me to articulate what it is that I've always been thinking, or take what I've done in the past and make it better, because I now understand what I was doing was, right in line with what I should be doing, number one, why it works, and that's the key, why it works, and how I can make it better. So that's what I find with a lot of these books, and it's creative thinking. Pardon me. I woke up with a crazy little throat situation, of course, because it's, the day I got to do my show. Cheers. So I keep drinking my coffee. I should probably be drinking like lemon water or something. Anyway, I'm going to read something here. When you believe, your mind finds ways to do. There's just basically one point that you need to get here, and I'm just going to read this out to you. I don't want to paraphrase this. I made some notes here, but I didn't want to mess this part up. Quote, when you believe something is impossible, your mind goes to work for you to prove why. That's critical. When you believe something is impossible, your mind goes to work for you to prove why. You see how the power of creative thinking works in both directions? It's not, mind over matter is not so much walking around being Mr. Positive all the time, so much as it is guarding your brain against the forces of impossibilities. You have to be in constant protection of your thoughts and your mindset and the direction you think. It's not that you can't be in a room with people who are negative and propel impossibilities, but you do have to disengage from conversation, and you have to disengage from supporting the theory. No matter how much you love the person or you think they're awesome or you've been friends for 50 years, you can't engage the theory. You nod and go, uh-huh, change the subject. Isn't that interesting? Change the subject. I promise you this, if you continuously change the subject and continuously just not support their theory by not giving it life, they'll stop talking to you about it. Because they're looking for people to support them. But if you so much as say, you know what, that was crappy. Oh, you know what, that's too bad. I'm sorry. I hope you're doing okay. Boom, you're in. They're going to lock and load and they're going to dump a pile of crap on you and you're done. Run. Mentally run. You don't have to run away because that just would make you look foolish. I'm going to open my window again because it's getting stuffy in here really quick. I'd say let me know if it's too loud because I can still hear the trucks, but you guys can't talk to me because the chat window didn't open after you start broadcast. Anyway, run away mentally. Okay, so I'm going to finish this off. So first point, when you believe something is impossible, your mind goes to work for you to prove why. But when you believe, really believe, not just, I believe in that, or yeah, that's possible. That's possible. You might as well say it's impossible. Really, truly believe something can be done. I'll start that again. But when you believe, really believe something can be done, your mind goes to work for you and helps you find the ways to do it. It may not be immediate, but it's going to be continually churning. You'll be driving in your car and be like, wait a minute. Well, if I do this, this, and this, wow, that'll work. I couldn't figure out how I was going to get from point A to point B, but now I know, right? So all I'm saying is that there's so much power going on in your mind that if you don't protect it and guard it with every ounce of your being, you're running the risk of allowing the perpetual, I think that's the right word, negative influences that are around you. They're everywhere, right? There isn't a day that doesn't go by where something negative isn't coming at me. I just have to learn. I had to learn how to, sort of put the deflectors on and let it go off to the side, rather than absorb it. Even when I'm talking to somebody that I've known for a long time and they're constantly projecting negative vibes about their life and how things are going, and things like that. It's not that I don't talk to these people, but all I do is I listen, which and I'm not actively listening. Once you get to a certain point where they're just complaining, I don't even actively listen anymore. It's more of a head nod, and wherever I get a chance to interject something new, like change the subject, talk about the weather, talk about in a good way, talk about how awesome my coffee is. Yeah. Okay, moving on. I think you get that point. Pardon me. So, just reviewing my notes here, see what I've forgotten. Believing something can be done paves the path for creative thinking or creative solutions. Believing something can't be done is destructive thinking. That's basically what it is. Destructive thinking. The point, and this point that I'm making applies to all situations, little, big, political leaders, that political leaders that don't truly believe that world peace is possible, they'll never accomplish it because they don't truly believe it's possible, right? That's a huge one, right? Right down to something as small as, the family that is having a hard time making ends meet, and the cupboards are bare and they need to find a way to get some food in the house. Well, if they believe that they will find a way, guess what? There'll be food in the house. If they got payments, I'll give you an example. There are two different. It's funny, this just came to me, but they're two different people, and I know both of these people, and they're real live people that I know. One of them neither one of them makes a lot of money. Neither one of them has this massive influx. They don't have huge jobs where they're making, $100,000 a year or anything like that. They're just, they're making probably average or slightly below average when it comes to income. And one of them always believes that at the end of the month that all the bills will be paid. There will be a semblance of some sort of food in the house. All the payments for the cars and the everything's going to be done. It's all going to be taken care of. And the other person is in a constant state of flux and anxiety about how they're going to pay this bill or that bill. And in fact, well, I'll add that after. And they don't ever really truly believe that they have enough money to pay all their bills and live their life. They truly believe that. The fact remains is that the person who doesn't believe actually is in arrears on, I think, all of their bills. Not that they're going to have anything shut off or anything like that, but none of them are paid up in full. There are plenty of times during the month where they are completely flat dead broke, not a dime in their pocket, and waiting for a paycheck to arrive. So, and the irony is that the flat dead broke, not all the bills have been paid, makes less money than the other one. One believes that they're going to get everything done, the other doesn't. The one that believes has all their bills paid up. Do they have a lot of extra spare money? Not a lot of extra spare money, but they do. They have some. I know for sure because I've seen them out doing social things and having money to do that. I've never once ever seen this person ever not have, anywhere from $5 to $50 available to them to buy a coffee, whatever, put gas in their car, whatever the case might be. Whereas the other one, constantly in that state. One believes it's impossible to pay everything with the money they make. The other believes it's possible to get it all done. And they do. I'm telling you. I'm not making this stuff up, and I'm not just spouting this stuff off so you can sit here and think that, that this is some sort of fluffy little, positive mindset thing. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not a positive mindset, as I said earlier, unicorns and rainbows guy. I mean, those are the guys that stand there or tell you to go stand in front of your garden and say there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds. I got news for you, buddy. There are weeds in your garden, and unless you pull them up, they're gonna take over the garden. So, pardon me. Well, so, oh yeah, so I made some other notes here. You can discover solutions to personal problems if you believe they can. That goes back to the story I just told. You can find a way to purchase that new, larger home if you believe you can. Right? There's ways to do things. If you believe you can do it, it'll happen. It may not happen. What I think here's the crux of the problem, I think. And if for those of you taking notes, here's where I would start, get the pen ready, and start putting it to paper. The crux of the problem when it comes to people in their belief of things that can be done is they put these unrealistic timelines on them. I think the key to the equation is not to say, well, I believe it can be done, but it's got to be done by the end of the week. That's dangerous. Setting goals is good, but unrealistic goals are bad. Now, should we be setting goals that we always reach? Of course not. We need to be setting goals that are on the edge of unattainable, right on the edge of the screen, on the edge of unattainable, but possible. So, but something like, say, oh, I want to buy a larger home. Well, then what will happen is somebody will see a house that they want. Okay, I want that house right there, that one there, that's the one I want, and then they can't get that one. because for whatever reason, blah, blah, blah. And then they say, I say, look, it's impossible. I'll never get the house. Maybe that's not the house that you are supposed to have. Perhaps if you stayed patient, continued to believe that you're going to find a house that has another bedroom or 2 more bedrooms or more bathrooms or whatever it is that you're looking for, truly believe it could happen. Solutions, well, it's right here. Believe and you will start thinking constructively. Belief releases creative powers or juices. Don't call them powers, we'll call them juices. The belief will release creative juices in your brain. Disbelief puts on the brakes. Don't get the house that you think is the one, and you get into the disbelief mode, brakes are on, no more. You're not going to find the house you want. You're not going to find a house. It doesn't have to be the house, a house, right? So your mind will create a way if you let it. That's the bottom line. Your mind will create a way if you let it. Here's a couple of things that you can do. I'm going to wrap this up. We're getting close to the end. Here's a couple of things you can do, to believe it can be done. The basics of creative thinking, I guess is what we'll call it. And here's a couple of suggestions on how to develop that creative, mindset. Number one, this is just a couple. There's just 2 here. Number one, eliminate the word impossible from your thinking and speaking vocabularies. Impossible is a failure word. Okay? The simple thought of it's impossible sets off a chain reaction of thoughts to prove that you're right. A chain reaction of thoughts to prove that you're right. Well, that's impossible. Chain reaction immediately begun in my brain to prove that I'm right. Don't forget that your brain is in a constant state of proving that you're right. As the old phrase goes, whether I think I can or whether I think I can't, I'm right. You're in a constant state of trying to prove you're right. We all want to be right. Nobody likes to be wrong. That is why it's so important to guard what's happening up here. Because if you're not guarding what's happening up here, it'll never happen. I mean, let's translate this into business. Okay, guys, we got this. I'll try and wrap it up with this whole concept. We got these online businesses, and we have MLMs that we're all part of, and network marketing, or any of these things. And do you truly believe you're going to be a top producer in the company that you're part of? Do you truly believe your advertising efforts are going to work? Do you truly believe you're going to get opt-ins into your list? Do you truly believe you're going to convert those opt-ins into paid customers? If you even have a whisper, let's make it even this big, a whisper of doubt, a chain reaction of other thoughts will begin to prove this is right. Not this. This. This is top producer in your company, making millions of dollars online, time freedom, doing whatever I want with my time, never worrying about money ever again, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. All that wonderful stuff. This, someone said no to me. Well, I don't know if that ad will work. I don't know if I should spend that money on the advertising. I don't know if I should learn that new skill. What if it doesn't work? Any one of those simple sentences fits in this tiny little window here. And as soon as you start to think about it, your chain reaction of thoughts begin to prove that this tiny little piece of the puzzle is right. When in fact, this is just as right as this. But it's your choice which one you're going to work with. Are you protecting your mindset? Are you protecting your ability to progress? Number 2. think of something special or sort of, let's call it previously unattainable, you've been wanting to do or felt that you couldn't do. Pick anything. Anything from any avenue of your life. Now make a list of reasons why you can do it. So many of us, we completely build ourselves up, and we churn out this list. No, that's not the way I want to say it. I made some rough notes here, and I'm just trying to remember how I had it in my head. So many of us, we churn up all the and defeat ourselves, right? We defeat our desires simply because we concentrate on why we can't. And when the only thing worthy of our mental concentration is why we can't. There we go. That's what it was. The only thing worthy of our mental concentration, the only thing worthy of thinking about, this goes back to guarding your mindset. The only thing worthy of your mental concentration is why we can. There are a million reasons why we can't do something. And you've heard this before 1,000 times, and I won't be the first person to tell it to you, and I'm certainly not going to be the last person to hear it from. You only need one reason why you can. Because all you need is to adjust your focus so that all you're focusing on is the one reason why you can. Then the other reasons are complete. They're not in. Here's you focused on the one reason. All the other stuff's happening back here. You're like, yeah, but you can't. I can't see that. I can't tell. All I can see is, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. They're over here trying to get at you, trying to tell you. And every now and again, want to slip over here. Well, you got to move this over here so you're not looking at it anymore. It's over here again now, right? You gotta keep your focus on the reasons why you can. It's the only thing worthy of your mental concentration. The only thing worthy of your mental concentration. I think I'm moving my camera by banging on the counter. Yeah, that's it. So what's for the homework for today? You know, I wasn't sure what I was thinking about for homework, but well, here I got a couple of things just so that you can understand this concept a little better. I could probably talk on this for another hour, which I don't want to do. So I have a lot more notes here. So two things I want you to do. Actually, two things. Number one would be actually do the exercise. There's two exercises. Eliminate the word impossible and think of something special that you want to do and make a list of reasons why you can do it. Okay? Those were the two things on how to start to develop creative thinking. Now, what I want you to do is take number two and blow that sucker up and actually think of a few things that you've previously put into the wheelhouse of maybe, never, impossible, any of those kinds of things. And take them out of that closet, drop them back into the world of yes it can, and start writing a list of why it can. Why you can do it. Start writing those out so that you can concentrate on that. Number two, and this is going to be more of a fun experiment, what I want you to do here is this will be fun. The phrase is nothing grows in ice. So if you freeze out your mind, new ideas can never sprout. Okay? So, I wanted to cover one more thing. Let me see, it's over here somewhere. I don't want to word this just so I can try and be concise about it. Let's see here. It has to do with not being willing to not being willing to look at other concepts, right? So when you look at something, all you ever see is the same. So you think everything needs to be done the same way all the time. You don't ever try and do something different. a good exercise for the brain is always to try and, if you clean the house a certain, like, let's say you're cleaning your house. If you clean your house, I guarantee you right now that if you're the house cleaner in your home, that you clean your house the exact same way every single time you do it. Because it's just the way you've always done it. I challenge you to do it in reverse. Start in the middle. Just do random stuff. And then it helps to challenge your thinking. It helps to challenge the way your brain works. And it's also, the average people, they resent progress, and you don't want to be average, okay? So average people resent progress, so you don't want to be those people. There's more than one way to do something. That's the other side of it. There's as many ways to accomplish a task as there are men to do the job, was once said by a famous person. Mr. Greenwald. I have it written down here, actually. He's a Columbia University professor and president, sorry. He was. He was the president of a large company, and he was doing a talk at a university. Sorry. Anyway, he didn't think that was right, so I double-checked my facts there. But anyway, it said there's many ways in which a good job can be done, as many ways, in fact, as there are men to whom a task is given, which means there's an infinite number of ways to do something. So if you're always doing something the same way, then you got a problem. So here's the second part of your homework. And it is an experiment. We're testing out how people's minds completely shut down to the concept of new ideas. And you'll be fascinated. Don't respond. Just watch someone's behavior. Don't engage the conversation. Just throw it out there and see what happens. Pardon me. Something like the postal system, both in the U.S. and Canada. It's a huge government monopoly, and always has been. Turn it over to the private enterprise. That's a pretty big concept. People might get a little freaked out by it. Something as simple as your political elections, depending on which country you live in. They call him a president, we call him prime minister, but it doesn't matter. Change it. Right now it's every 4 years. Tell me you think that it should be done every 2 or every 6, and see what kind of response you get. Like, it's not that you're planning on changing the process or anybody's going to change it. You're just throwing it out there to see what kind of behavior you get. And the retirement age should be raised to 70 years of age. I don't necessarily believe these things. I'm just saying, for an experiment, throw them out there, see what kind of response you get. Because it doesn't matter whether these ideas are sound or practical or even make any sense at all. What's significant is how someone handles this when you throw this at them. If they laugh at the idea and they don't give it a second thought, they're probably in the 95% percentile where they'll laugh at it. And they suffer from tradition paralysis, where nothing should change because that's just the way it is and it's always been. Makes me want to throw up. But then there'll be the odd person who says to you, well, tell me more about it. This is a very interesting idea. Now that person's a progressive thinker. That's all there is to it. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed Mind Over Matter for July 17th, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care now. Bye.